Still with us, Andy Rice, Adrian, Botha, and now joining us, an independent film producer and actor, Thapelo Mokoena. Welcome to the show, Thapelo.
Thank you very much.
So apparently this movie started off as a public service announcement and then snowballed, and eventually it created this whole movie called Scave. Tell us about it.
Yep. Myself and a very creative writer sat down one day, and we were trying to basically further our little production company and start doing more jobs, but we thought, since we're not getting the jobs that we're pitching for and the jobs that we would like to get, we might as well start creating our own work. And part of that was looking at our issues in this country, or maybe let me say our continent, and trying to find a way between entertainment and edutainment. You know, and we thought, since we have the power of film, we might as well use that to heal people and educate people, and that's where the public service announcement idea came up, which obviously spiraled out of. So
who did you pitch the PSA to?
Well, we're basically trying to raise money for it.
Oh, right.
Let me put it that way. So when we pitch to potential investors. I spoke to BAT, you know, because it was initially an anti-smoking commercial, a 30-second anti-smoking commercial. So long story short, it just really became larger than life, and it was too big to shoot as a short film, and we decided, okay, to shoot as a PSA, so we decided, let's make a short film. That became too big, and we decided to man it out and make a film. And long story short, we've made this socially responsible film, highly entertaining, but deep down inside, the subtext is about addiction will kill you.
Now, Andy, this is quite a different approach to a public service announcement. Do you think that this way of producing it and putting it out there as a movie will actually then help and talk to the youth?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, content is king in the youth market, well, in all markets, but particularly so in the youth market. And I'm assuming this is going to be available online as well.
Yes, indeed.
And I think the important thing about entertainment is that we are, our brains aren't wired to draw artificial distinctions between what is advertising, what is editorial. We're hardwired to follow things we enjoy watching.
Right.
And that's why it's very difficult to make a viral campaign. Marketers don't make viral campaigns. Consumers make campaigns viral. And they'll do that if it's something sufficiently interesting to pass on. Will my friends and colleagues and peers enjoy this? If so, I'll send it on.
Because isn't that the problem, and the problem to start off with? Smoking is caused by peers, isn't it? Mainly. So if peers are talking about that it's not cool, if we can say to, you know, and educate the youth that smoking is not cool, then it's not going to, I don't want to be your friend like we saw in the clip because you're smoking, it's not cool. I think in the States they had this whole campaign where smoking is gay, so if you're smoking, then it means you're gay, kind of thing. So it's those connotations. We decided not to show that. Anyway, Adrian, your thoughts on this clip and just the way that they're going about getting the message across.
I think it's a very, very interesting, and I think it's quite a novel concept. I've always had a belief, and you know, I don't have Andy's expertise, but I've always had a belief in the role of role models and the power of role models. And unfortunately, I can only really talk from the alcohol side. We haven't had great role models in South Africa. You know, when you look at the number of footballers, sportsmen, musicians that have been in trouble for drinking and driving and this type of thing, it's not the right example. So I think if one is able to have true role models saying, well, you know, this is how I live and this is what I prefer to do, and it's cool, I think it's really worth examining.
For us, it's purely, I mean, to add to what you're saying there, it's about using a cool platform to communicate uncool messages.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if it means we use this entertainment package, which is film, that every kid watches, and an average household in Africa, or South Africa to be specific, has access to a DVD player, then we can use films that are very affordable to communicate these messages. So
what if the kids don't have a DVD player? What if we're looking at really rural areas, townships?
Well, you'd be surprised, because an average South African home has a DVD player. They might not have access to your latest movie that's out at the cinema, but they've definitely got a DVD player.
But what I'm saying is will there be any other sort of educational drives that will go along with actually watching the movies within these areas?
Definitely. That was the added value to the idea of us making this film. We wanted to make sure that it reaches the people that it's supposed to reach, as opposed to just make a film and go on cinema and assume that we've reached South Africans. You know, so our angle is purely to make films and travel films, so people see films.
Right.
So we've got an initiative called the SCAFE Outreach Program. We're going to get into it with the Department of Health and the Department of Education, and we're going to take 4 months to visit every province in the country, screen the film in each province, spend a week in each province, so activate throughout the week, screen on the Saturday, and have the National Council Against Smoking accompany us for the information and the facts, and you know, just add more to the entertainment package, make it more real, and I think also as filmmakers we stand a chance at actually being profitable that way, because we're reaching out more and we can sell DVDs cheaper than the bootleg DVDs, and who knows.
I just want to touch on what we discussed in the first half, and it was about advertising and whether you ban advertising, would it deter people or consumers from consuming that product. We've seen, Adrian, that even with the banning of advertising for tobacco products, that there was not a significant decrease, if there was a decrease at all, in consuming cigarettes.
Yes, well, I've seen the numbers recently put out, and it appears that the number of cigarettes smoked in South Africa remains the same. It's just that a large proportion now is smuggled into the country, so it's not officially counted, put it that way. So, yeah, you know, my gut tells me that what impacted on cigarettes, and as I say, it hasn't impacted on sheer numbers, but you don't see it so often, is nothing in restaurants, nothing in bars, nothing in the airport, not on aeroplanes. So it's more difficult to smoke. But I honestly believe that the tobacco ban had very, very little, if any, effect. And, you know, the marketing efforts continue, but in a different way.
But now, Andy, the thing is with marketing and advertising, it's not about telling you to smoke, it's about brand awareness, isn't it? It's from wanting you to switch from one brand to another. Same with alcohol.
Yeah, although that's a difficult argument to prove. I think that there's no doubt that brand advertising will build a category if there's potential for that building to take place. It isn't completely saturated. So I think you can legitimately say that the main brand marketers are indeed trying to switch, but the combined effort of that brand switching strategy is in fact probably to grow the category as well. But I don't think that the government would be as emboldened as it is to talk about total bans on alcohol advertising if they felt that it would catastrophically destroy the industry, because they have a significant revenue base that they have to protect. And I think they're saying to themselves, we can get much of the kudos without the financial penalty. And that's a very cynical approach, but I'm sure it's at least part of the argument behind looking for a total ban.